Well, hello there. Hope you're having a fantastic day. My name's Campbell. This is Autodidactic 2. And today we're going to have a look at some more videos of this strange realm we find ourselves in.
When you go down that rabbit hole of the celebrities covering up one eye, doing the sixes over one eye, might have been Jeremiah Cohen. He had one of those shows where he was saying it's all of them. And he would have montages that were 2 hours long, and it would be nothing but celebrities covering up their eye. And I would watch that many of them doing it, and I thought, okay, I guess it's all of them. But then part of your brain would say, no, wait, it can't be all of them. It's too many of them for it to be all real. It like breaks your mind to see everybody doing the one eye symbolism.
Yeah, because you're like, it can't be all of them, because we've got our emotions involved, right? So-and-so played a good character that we fell in love with in this movie or this TV show. There's no way they're involved, and then you look it up and it's like, they did the same things. They did the same exact things. They had the same symbolism, the same everything. I'm convinced, personally, if you're in the limelight, they will not risk giving you access to the public if they can't control you.
Not Jackie Chan too. Oh my God, they've got them all. Right? Even Hermione from Harry Potter. Holy crap. Um, What do you think about this, guys? Like, why is the one eye symbolism so prevalent in Hollywood and in the singing, music industry as well? And then we have the Black Eye Club, which goes along with that, all these people with black eye, and that goes back to the vril, which they say is like a parasite worm that they put into you. I'm not sure how it goes in through the eye or the ear or something, and basically sits at the back of your eyeball and attaches to it and gives you this black eye. There's a lot of weird stuff going on. Like, who do you think these people are? Do you think they're us? Do you think that anyone can get famous? Do you think you need to be part of, the bloodline, right? One of the families, or can you just be anyone who is prepared to sell their soul? Because we see a lot of this as well coming out. But the thing is, when you look into these celebrities, even though we have all these stories, when you look into them, they all have connections, right? It's like the music industry in the 60s. If you look into all those bands, they were all living at Laurel Canyon together, and they are all the children of military families. Jim Morrison's dad, he was the admiral of the Navy in Tonkin, the Bay of Tonkin, which is what started the Vietnam War. His dad literally started the Vietnam War, and he came out as this big, rebellious, anti-establishment, peace-loving dude, right? But it seems to be just all a scam, all the same story played over and over again. But I would love to hear your thoughts on it. Please let me know in the comments.
They would stage TNT right there, big TMT demonstrations to scare the people into believing in nukes. It's funny because when you look up an atom, go to Google and look up an atom. Look up the photo of an atom. Oh, wait, there isn't a photo. So how can you split the atom if there's no photo of the atom? Well, you can make up things. You can draw pictures of mushroom clouds, and you can use Hollyweird to scare people into believing that if they don't comply, they're gonna get nuked. Because nukes are fake. You didn't know that all that stuff you saw on television was all made by Hollyweird? That's what it is. All fake. And let me just show you a little picture right here. Nukes were so fake that what happened was when nukes were going off, buildings were still standing. That's what it is. See that right there? Let me just zoom right in there. Buildings were still perfectly standing, and all the trees were all perfectly still there. Japan was with napalm and mustard gas. That's what they did. There were no nukes. Nukes is just so that they can invade different countries and then bring their banking. That's what the nuke is. You know, they're always talking about those weapons of mass destruction. Remember that? 9/11, we got to invade those 7 countries and then bring our bank. That's the nuke.
Wow, that was a bit of a loud beep. Nukes. Do you believe in them? And if so, why? Because he's right. That's Matt from Cultivate Elevate. We have no proof of this. The only proof or evidence we have of nukes is from the 2D world, right? Hollywood, Hollywood, as he calls it, right? Hollywood, which we know was started by the CIA. And, apart from the fact there's no proof of this, and then you've got the atom bomb, right? Next to the nukes, like how are they different, splitting the atom, nuclear? not really sure what the exact difference is, but if you go and look at Hiroshima, photos of Hiroshima, most of the buildings and trees are still standing, and people moved back into that city within weeks of this atom bomb. But as far as nuclear, the main reason I don't believe in it, and it's provably false, is remember Chernobyl in Russia, nuclear meltdown in the 80s, and they told us that it was going to be irradiated, and basically you wouldn't be able to go there for thousands of years, they said, or you'd die. But today, go and check out Chernobyl today. It is literally a wildlife sanctuary. It's full of animals. It's full of nature, trees, plants, all this stuff. And people are living in there and no one's dying. And we had the same thing with Fukushima, right? Nuclear meltdown was going to kill all the oceans. Nothing happened. It's all fear, false evidence appearing real.
You were both in Skull and Bones, the secret society.
It's so secret we can't talk about it.
What does that mean for America? The conspiracy theorists are going to go
I'm
wild.
sure they are. I don't know. I haven't seen the web.
Number 322.
You both were members of Skull and Bones, a secret society at Yale. What does that tell us?
Not much, because it's a secret.
Is there a secret handshake? Is there a secret code?
I wish there were something secret I could manifest.
322, a secret number?
There are all kinds of secrets, Tim, but one thing is not a secret. I disagree with this president's direction that he's taking the country. We can do a better job, and I intend to do it.
Tim Russert, the moderator of Meet the Press and NBC's Washington bureau chief, collapsed and died early this afternoon.
Well, how many times have we heard that? Someone out there doing the good work and they just drop dead. Right? It happens so often, with people trying to expose the truth in politics and all this, but also with people with inventions, free energy, water carts, all this kind of stuff, right? It's always the same story. And, those dudes are actors. They act, right? And then they go to Parliament when we put them in power, when we empower them. And what do? They create more acts, right? And statutes for statues. So what do you think? Are these again, right? It's like the Black Eye Club, the 666 eye, whatever you want to call it. Do you think that you have to be born into this? Is it part of it? And do you think they're us? Like, do you think they're us, or are these some kind of different entities? Because in my mind, I've never ever met anyone who wanted to go and start a war for profit. Never met anyone who wanted to go to their neighbors and tell them that unless they gave them part of their wage every week, they would throw them in a cage, right? It's not human. It's not human traits. And yes, we have bad people. We have people doing bad things, but I would put that down to things like the education system, the movies and games that they, program people with, all the violence, the third world country situation, and just poverty in general, right? People going without. I think it's all created by these Lites, right? The people of L. That's what I believe anyway, that they're not us. They're definitely all in cahoots because, you know, every election they're like, oh, I hate that person. I'm so much better. It's us against them. But then, they all agree on the Antarctic Treaty. They all go to the Bilderberg Club and they're all friends. They all go to Bohemian Grove and hang out together. It's all a big act. But please let me know your thoughts.
This is what Islamic Republic wants me to be. This is what Taliban and ISIS wants us to be. And this is my true self. In Iran, I was told if I take off my hijab, I will be hanged with my hair by God. I'll get kicked out from school. I'll get lashes. I'll get jailed. I'll get fined. I'll get beaten up in the street every day by morality police. If I get raped, it's my fault. If I take off my hijab, I won't be able to exist as a woman in my homeland. In the West, I am told if I share my stories, then I will cause Islamophobia. I am a woman from the Middle East, and I am scared of Islamic laws. I am scared of all the brutalities that I have experienced. Phobia is an irrational fear, but my fear and the fear of millions of other women who lived under Sharia law in the Middle East is rational. So let us talk.
Yeah, and that's obviously just evil, right? Evil. Sharia law is it's just evil. The opposite to live, right? But this is what they're doing. This is what they're pushing all through Europe at the moment. Sweden is now the rape capital of the world, with about 98% of SAs being done by immigrants. And that's just the facts. It's got nothing to do with racism, got nothing to do with the color of their skin or their religion, because I don't care. What I care about is what they do, their actions. People are what they do, not what they say. So, Sweden is also now the white population is in the minority. Sweden, right? White people are no longer in the majority there. And this is clearly all planned to create division, to create fear, to destroy countries, to destroy cultures. And we see it happening everywhere. So please let me know your thoughts on this. What do you think? Because the truth is, when you bring in a clash of laws, opinions, cultures, religions like this, and you have one side seeing women who aren't fully covered up as, how should we call it, let's just say loose women. What do you think is going to happen when you send these people into a country where Western women are used to wearing skirts and shorts and being able to be themselves and having their hair out? Like they knew this would happen. This is a planned event. So I'm not sure what we do about it now. It's gone pretty far, but these people need to be sent back to their country or somewhere else, right? I mean, basically, as soon as you step over the line and do this kind of stuff and attack women or anyone, especially children and women, uh, you should be walking the plank. You should not be allowed to be in this realm anymore. That's just my opinion, though. But let me know yours.
No, maybe you should be deported back to Afghanistan, Payman.
Senator Thorpe, this matter has been considered before. Dress is a matter for individual senators' conscience.
President, a dress code might be a choice of the senators, but racism should not be the choice of the Senate.
Shut up. I don't even know what this chick's name is, but she's from Pakistan. She's an immigrant and she's a senator. And a couple of weeks ago, she stood there and said, you white people in the same building. Her ass needs to be deported back to Pakistan where she can be racist to white people over there.
If this is about the dress code, she is disrespecting a faith. She is disrespecting the Muslims out there.
Shut up. What about when you disrespected the Christian faith when you mocked Charlie Kirk's death, telling him to rest in piss? How about you get your fucking shit and be deported back to Afghanistan to live under Taliban rule? Get out of my country.
Whatever our own beliefs may be, the sort of disrespect that you are engaging in now is not worthy of a member of the Australian Senate, and it should...
Penny Wong, Asian lesbian. Got nothing against lesbians. Nothing against lesbians. Let me tell you that. I have nothing against lesbians. But an Asian lesbian smells like a CCP plant to me.
Not be allowed to stand.
And there are ways that you can reflect and express yourself in this chamber without going to the extent that we have seen
chick is
today.
Deplorable. Anne Ruston, let me finish with this. Anne fucking Ruston. This chick was the one that got up and walked out when I did a speech in the Adelaide Hills a couple of months ago, right? I started with some constructive criticism about Susan Ley. The moment she heard me bagging out Susan Ley, she got up and walked out. And then on her way out, I said, Susan Ley is a DEI hire. That stands for didn't earn it. Anne is a moderate in the Liberal Party. That means she is a Greens plant. This is why the Liberal Party needs to deregister tomorrow, because plants like her have been placed in there to destroy a Conservative party.
I intend to ask Senator Hanson to remove herself from the chamber and remove the clothing and come back.
And I don't even know who this chick is, but we need to have term limits on our politicians. All right, a lot of them are way too old. They need to get out of there and retire. And like I said yesterday, this is Australia. It's Australia's land. It's for Australian people and Australia's culture. Ban the burqa. What's your thoughts?
Yes, what are your thoughts? And this is a thing. This is happening in Australia too, and in America or the USA and Canada. Just go on and don't Google, like DuckDuckGo or use Brave, and see how many senators there are in those countries that are of Muslim faith. There's a lot. The mayor of New York at the moment is that. And of course, they're using this whole, small hats agenda to try and push them in, right? The small hats are the bad ones, so that people kind of let the Muslims in. But this is happening in Australia now, right? This is happening. As you saw, all those senators they're all from the Australian Parliament. And the lady wearing the burqa, that was Pauline Hanson, true Aussie legend. She's been in politics for about 30 years now. Started off in a fish and chip shop. But of course, her party's never been allowed to really get up and get any votes because it's a two-party system, right? Two wings of the same bird. And that's the illusion of choice that you can choose one against the other. But when you've only got two options, that is not choice, right? You need at least three points of view to be able to make a decision, at least, right? Try starting with 10. It's a lot better, right? The more, the merrier. But let me know, what do you think? Because, like I said, Europe is far advanced as far as the Western countries, but it's happening in Australia, Canada, USA, no doubt New Zealand, definitely in England, right? Uh, but let me know, what do you think about all this?
The reality is this country needs to shut the gates immediately. We need a 5-year hard stop on immigration coming into this country, and we need to start deporting some of the 2.9 million temporary visa holders across multiple visa programs in this country out of Australia over the next 36 months. We need to remove these people so that our country has the opportunity to thrive again. Your government is a crack addict addicted to crack rocks in the form of cash.
Yes, well, he ain't wrong. They're definitely crack addicts, addicted to cash because, when you get into the whole law, what's really going on with trusts and trust accounts and, this is all straw man kind of stuff. When immigrants come into your country, you get control of their trust. So all the governments that are accepting these immigrants are literally getting access to billions of dollars of money that they can then access. That's the real reason that the governments are doing it. That's why they're so easily swayed, right? That's how they pay these puppets to commit these, atrocities, right? Let's not beat around the bush. That's what it is. They're destroying their own country for profit. And 2.9 million temporary visas in Australia. That is insane because there's only 26 million people in Australia. That's more than 10% of the population. And of course, Australia, like all other Western countries, is in the middle of a housing crisis, right? We don't have enough houses as it is. And of course, so that's why the price of housing is so high. It's been pushed up so high. And these um, politicians, many bloodsuckers, right? They just keep letting people in because they're getting cashed up. They're buying their $1 million houses. They're filling their bank accounts, and they don't care about the people, which I'm sure you all understand by now. It's all a show, right? So we need to stop going along with this and stand up. I mean, I don't know. What's the answer? I mean, I think what they did in Mexico and Nepal, it could be a good start, right? When they put that flamey stuff next to the Parliament buildings. Not sure I can say on YouTube, right? Because we're still so highly censored, right? Which is another big clue. Why can't we even talk about this stuff? So, again, let me know your thoughts, guys. And if you're enjoying this, please give me a like, share the video around, and leave me a comment. And also, if you do watch to the end of the video, you'll find at the end of every video, I do leave a little surprise video to give you a better day. And if you watch to the end, it will definitely help this video get out to more people. And I would appreciate it.
A man has been sentenced to 2 years in prison for this comment on Facebook.
You wrote, because they're over here, given life of Riley off the tax us hard-working people earn when it could be put to better use. Come over here with no work visa, no trade to their name, and then there's more people being put out homeless each year. They get top band priority on housing. You went on to say that you did not want your money going to immigrants who, quote, are kids and get priority, end quote. Although you said that you had no intention of carrying out any act of violence, there can be no doubt that you were inciting others to do so.
There can be no doubt that you were inciting violence for literally just saying objectively true statements.
Ah, those liars. I mean, lawyers. Um, I mean, clear, who are they, right? I mean, they get paid for convictions, right? Lawyers and justices, whatever they are, literally, they get paid when they convict people in court. That's the truth. That's why they want to get you in there. If you keep winning the court, the trial, whatever it is, if you do that three times, they will leave you alone because you are costing them money. It's all about money in the end. These people are all sellouts, but that was a white guy. Like, how do these people live with themselves? How do they sleep at night? I would say it's because they're not us, right? They have evil inside of them, or what we would call evil, right? Anti-life, anti-live, anti-men and women. But being jailed, and this is just, more of the story, right? This is why this is happening because you can't even talk about it, right? You can't even bring up the conversations, or else you're deemed a racist, right? It's absolutely insane. But the only way to get out of this is to talk about it, is to get conversations. Maybe we just have to go back to the 3D world, right, and actually meet people in public and actually have real conversations with them. And I've also, with Tartaria Australia, we have released a magazine, well, a newspaper, really. This one's first edition, 72 pages, and you can subscribe to it, and it's all uncensored. And it's physical. It's not on the internet. It's not going to ever be on the internet. It turns up as a physical newspaper in your letterbox. So if you're interested in that, I'll leave the link below. And we're also doing a 12-hour live stream on the 21st, well, Australia time, the 21st. Where myself and Kelly, my podcast partner, are going to do a 12-hour cast. We're going to have guests on there. We're going to have quizzes. We're going to have prizes and basically just a lot of fun, right? To say goodbye to 2026. So I'll leave that link down below as well if you want to get involved.
This is an update on the MyGov hacking story, and it's getting big. We've contacted a few independent senators. They're getting excited by it. We've contacted a mainstream news reporter. They're excited by it. So it's beyond me now. But this is what happened. So the young man told us that they tried to hack him twice. The second time they got in. So he got a code sent to his phone, the two-tier security system, that he had a code sent to his phone. The second code, they somehow circumnavigated it and got in. He doesn't know how. Then they set up a new passkey, so he was unable to access his MyGov. Then they got into Centrelink. They removed his bank details and they replaced them with their bank details. Then they requested an advanced payment. Then they got into his ATO. So now he has to deactivate his tax file number, and he's going to have to wait to get a new tax file number. And then they logged out, and they did all of that from the first hacking to logging out, 3 minutes.
And this is why the social media ID, the internet ID will never work. They can't even keep things secure as it is, right? And this is what the big promise is, right? They're doing it to secure, to make us all safe, especially the children, right? But clearly they can't even do it now, right? So why would you? And we know that they're just all they know how to do is lie. So why would anyone believe this? It does my head in why anyone would believe the crap that comes out of their mouth, especially at this point in the game. Like they've never, ever, ever kept to their words. We know, right? When there's an election, the politicians come out and they promise the world, but they never deliver, right? People are what they do, not what they say, right? Once again. But for you in other countries, Centrelink is basically our welfare system, I guess you'd call it. People who need assistance, aren't working, single mothers and all that. That's where you get your money. But on top of that, I would say don't get another ATO number. Don't, get away, But if you're on government benefits and the government are giving you money, then they have control of you and they are going to make you get a digital ID or they will cut off your money. So don't rely on the beast, right? It's just simple. If you want to be free, then you need to be free, of the government, and you need to be responsible for yourself. You can't say, I hate the government, they suck, they're so controlling, they need to fall, and then ask for a handout. All right, it's time for us all to become responsible, grow up, and take control of our own lives and ignore the governments. Because I've said it before, it's not the leaders that are the problem, it's the followers. It's the followers, because if they don't have followers, there is no leaders.
If someone ever calls you about collecting a debt, like a debt collector, like speeding fine, parking fine, if they go to a debt collector, this is what you say to them over the phone. I do not consent to verbal communication. Validate this debt in writing, including the original agreement. Send it to me via email or text. Once you've done that, they can't touch you because you've stated, I want it in writing. Having everything in writing saves you. And by saying this, asking for the original agreement, in that original agreement, did you agree for the debt collector to come after you? No, you didn't. So the debt is therefore invalid. And they know this. If you really want freedom to think how I think, check the link above in my website, the Romulus Chronicles. Take you to my novels, teach you how to read in between the lines, how to be free. Check it out.
Well, okay, so how do I get into this? So, first of all, be very, very careful who you are getting advice off about law and, the legal system, the law system, straw man, all this kind of stuff. Ask for proof before you even take a step into what they're talking about, right? Like just like he was saying, ask the debt collectors for the proof of the debt that you've agreed that you will pay that debt. Definitely, he got that right. But you need to do the same to these people trying to teach stuff. You need to ask for proof that what they are doing and teaching works. You just need evidence. It's just that simple. So I would say that he's wrong on several levels. Basically, what happens is the first, if a debt collector contacts you, I would just say, thank you so much for paying my debt. Thank you. And then hang up, right? That's it. Because they have paid your debt. They've bought it off whoever the debt was with, right? So for one, you no longer have a debt with whoever it was, the banks or the police fines, whatever it is, it's gone and someone has bought it. So they have paid your debt. So there is no debt. Second, like he said, ask for the proof, right? Because they are the ones making the claim. So they then need to prove their claim. So ask them for three to five points that they need to prove. And you start off with, I am happy to pay this debt. As long as you prove, one, that I agreed to pay this debt. Two, that you are the original customer, the original corporation, whatever that I got the debt from. Three, that I even have to pay the debt. Four, that you haven't already paid the debt and wiped it. Right? So there's all these questions, and this is how you deal with these people. You never make a claim. They come in making claims. You just ask them to prove it, and always be nice, be cordial, and just say, yeah, I'll pay it as long as you can prove that I legally have to. And that's where you get them, that because they can't. They can't, right? Once, if they contact you again, you send back the questions three times. And then if they contact you after that, then there's legal forms you can get into that you can send in, and it will make it illegal for them to contact you. But this is all getting a bit deep. For this video, I will go into some law as we go ahead, but it's I've got to be careful, right? Or else I'm making claims. And also, Google is watching, the small hats are watching, they don't want this information out. So I can leave some links. I'm doing a couple of courses at the moment. I'm doing one on trusts, PMAs, and foundations, which is more for business, I guess, to keep your money in the private and out of the peering eyes of the government. And another one which is more personal about how, basically not paying tax, how to drive unregistered and without a license if you want to go there, and many other things, becoming your own postmaster, gazetting your own documents, affidavit, all this stuff. But it's a big topic, and you really, really have to do your research. You have to make sure that you've got good information and take it at your own pace because all of this stuff is fine, and yes, all the good information is true that there are loopholes all through the legal system which they have to comply with. But the main thing is you need to be able to stand up. You need to know the language and you need to know that you are a living man or woman and that corporations have no control or jurisdiction over you because in the end, you're going to be the one on the side of the road with a cop and who has a gun and probably his mates harassing you. You're going to be the one who's got people, debt collectors knocking on your door, right? So it really is you have to change your language. You have to change the way you view it all and really be able to stand in that power before you start getting all gung ho. Because so many people see this stuff and they're like, woohoo, I don't need a license. And they go out driving and they don't know what to say. They don't have the right documents. They start making claims, and before they know it, it gets bad and they end up in jail. So be careful, but yeah, that's my that's my viewpoint on what he said. But please let me know your comments. What have you studied the law? Do you have any, or don't drop any links because the main thing is you need to make sure that the information you're getting is correct. That's step one.
There are many different words for money. To the church, it's called a donation. When paying for transportation, it's called a fare. When you borrow, it's called a loan. When you finally retire, it's called a pension. In court, it's called a fine. And when paying the government, it's called tax. And a tax is a fine for doing good. A fine is a tax for doing bad. It's funny how they both end up in the government's fucking pockets. See, when you earn it, they tax it. You save it, they tax it. You spend it, they tax it. You invest it, they tax it. You build it, they tax it. You live in it, they tax it. You sell it, they tax it. You drive it, they tax it. You eat it, they tax it. You drink it, they tax it. You give it away, they tax it. And when you die, they tax it. But then guess what? They only go and fucking waste it. They're about as reliable as a book titled Making Marriage Work, written by Henry the fucking Eighth. I guess we should let that sink in. Let that sink in. Let that sink in.
Well, he's right, right? It's all just different names for theft. Um, so yeah, look into it. Like tax is actually not that hard if you look into your tax office, tax department in your country, wherever you are. It doesn't take a lot of digging to find out that it's all fake. And, in Australia at least, and no doubt other countries, they tell you it's voluntary. So all you need to do is tick the box and say, I no longer volunteer to give you any of my money. It can be that simple, right? Um, but there's many things we can do. Definitely never join with these people. Do not understand them because it is true that when you do that, it means you're standing under their rule. Never admit or say that you are the all capitals name, the all caps, right? I mean, even the surname is given to you at birth. You're actually just your given names, right? That your parents give you. All the rest is just joinder so they can get control of your trust. And when you sign things, try not to use black for starters. Red is the best. Red is blood. Blue is admiralty law. Black is legal system. And always when you sign something, well, you don't sign it, right? Signing is legal. You autograph it. You autograph it. And an autograph can be an X. It can be whatever you want it. It can be a picture of a bird, like literally, but you autograph, you don't sign. And always put a VC at the end of your autograph. VC is vicoactus, which basically means that your signature on whatever paper it is cannot ever be used against you. And that carries legal weight, right? So autograph things, VC it. Basically, it's the same as under duress, but it just has more legal weight to it. VC, vicoactus. So there you go, guys. A little bit about the law. A lot of people have been asking me to sort of cover the law. So, like I said, I will hit on it, but I do have to be careful with what I say give out, and I also don't want to be making claims, and I don't want to give it, if you only have a little bit of information, you can only do a little bit, right? I don't want to be saying things and have people running around, doing things that are going to get them in trouble. The main thing is be autodidactic, guys. Be self-taught, be self-educated. Go and find good sources of information that are provable, that work, that there's proof that they work, and do your diligence. It's really that simple, right? Also, I did see some comments in the last video where I was talking about, and I do it a lot, right? Don't scroll, right? It's brain rot. It's affecting people's brains. And a lot of people were like, well, how do you find videos? Aren't you scrolling? I go on and I look for videos. So I do not spend, hours scrolling through TikTok and then like finding something, oh, that's good. I literally go and put search terms in and I decide what I want to do a video on and I go and find those videos. So I'm not scrolling. And I don't scroll on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, X, whatever it is. That's the problem when people are just mindlessly scrolling. They don't know what they're looking for. They're just wasting time and scrolling and liking and commenting and all this stuff. Completely different than doing things with intention, right? With intention, you get in, you do it, you find the information, you get off. With scrolling, you don't know why you're there. You're just scrolling, right? Dopamine hits. And that's the difference for everyone who commented. But there you go, guys. That is another one in the bag. Thank you for spending some time with me. Hope you enjoyed that one. Please do give me a like, share this around, leave me a comment, and thank you if you have made it to the end. I do appreciate it because that definitely will help this video get out further. And if you're not subscribed already, what the bloody hell are you doing? Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell button, and you'll be notified of all my future uploads. And most importantly, stay awesome because you are. Bye for now.